Alrighty. Here is my 20-inch Dayton branded high velocity fan, dating to 2007, 2006, 2007. This fan was I found in the trash, being sitting curbside. Someone throwing this away. Kind of glad I saw it. I glanced at it real quick. I almost passed it by. I was driving through not my neighborhood, but a couple neighborhoods over, and yeah, luckily my truck has pretty good headlights, so I seen this thing kind of reflecting, shining, and I was like, that's a high velocity fan. I'm gonna see what's wrong with it, and this fan does work. I plugged it in. It is only thing this thing really needs is a good restore. It's, as you can tell, it's pretty rusty, which I'm actually gonna get to doing this thing first, since it's going to be the most simple restoration I have in my archives. Yeah, it's got the V stand. I think that Patton and Hampton Bay eventually adapted to it. Patton, I think Patton did that stand, that V style like that. These fans in particular were branded under a few different makes. I believe this is as close to the last SMC high velocity fan that was marketed back around the same era. I have seen a different channel that had this same similar blade style and like similar setup, and it was a SMC brand, whereas this one is, I guess, the last of the Dayton. I think Dayton still makes things, but I'm not too sure. They might have gone under, or just not. They might have just sold out to SMC, which I don't believe makes fans in the United States anymore. Yeah, the blade's pretty dirty. Does run pretty well at the back, along with the model information. It is a model 2LY89A, 20-inch diameter, light commercial floor wall ceiling air circulator. Put it anywhere you want it, pretty much. 3 speeds. There's the date, 11/2007. So this is a 2007 model going on to 2008. It does come with a full-size PSC motor. Unfortunately, imported from China. These are not American-made motors, unfortunately. Although it does look close to a Macmillan with the vents and all that, but it's. I'll be honest. I mean, for a free fan, I mean, we'll see how long I can get this thing to last. I kind of like this one. This was a very worthy find, I'd say. And you can see the stand is a bit rusty. The whole grill is a bit rusty, which is going to need a repaint. So I want to get a better look. Yeah. So yeah. Nice Dayton badge there. I'm trying to preserve that best I can. Cage comes off with these clips, kind of like a pedestal fan, or 90s, early 2000s era table fan or pedestal fan. One of those I kind of like that. That's convenient style clips, because those won't seem to break as often as other ones used on fans similar to this era. Here's the cord to it. It is in need of a ground. I don't want to hook this up to my meter, which is why I'm not going to hook this up to my meter, because it might short my meter out, which I don't want to do that. These things ain't cheap, unfortunately. It's not as cheap as they look. Or not as cheap as they ought to be, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and plug this thing up and get demonstrated working. I'm gonna get around to repainting it, cleaning the motor up, oiling the motor, and resplicing another cord into this with a fresh ground so it runs properly. And here's high. Pretty noisy fan, but it does move some air. It's actually quite efficient, effective, I'll say. Now we'll go to medium. Or no, I guess that was low. Sorry. That's medium, which is pretty dang powerful. But it's not as what you think it is, really. These aren't really like the 90s and 80s high velocities that had really steep pitch blades. Here's high speed. Just a lot of noise, if you ask me. For what it is, it ain't bad. Yeah, it definitely lacks the steepness of the blade pitching from the 90s and 80s. Those high velocity, even the 70s. Those blades from those eras were very effective with steep pitching. Whereas this one, you can tell the blades are just, I mean, that's, come on. I don't know, see, if they were just able to make a little bit wider of a cabinet, they could have steepened this pitch, steepened the pitch of the blades, and it would have actually blown a lot more air. But for just a garage shop fan that I'm going to use this thing for, it's not bad, I guess. It's too noisy, I think, to use in a house setting. So, I'll go ahead and get this thing underway for a repaint and oil motor and all that, and I'll be back with it. Okay, now here is it post restoration. I did just did a quick paint over on this. Painted the blades a really my favorite hue of green, I guess you could say. Nice like mint shade of green. And I did the cabinet of it in white. Did my best to preserve the Dayton logo. It looks a little off, but I mean, I can touch it up at a different time. I kind of had to rush this a little bit. This is the easiest one. I like the easy ones to do. The back of it. Put some oil in the motor, a little bit of residue there. This motor sadly does not have oil ports on it anywhere. It's just a cheap China junk garbage motor, unfortunately. And I went ahead and put a new plug on it, and plug-in on here. There's a splice I did, so it has a ground, and I can hook it up to the meter and get accurate power draw. Yeah, I think this thing came out pretty nice, actually, for a quick one. So, without further ado, fire it up on the low. Things will rattle a little bit. Sadly, this stand is these fans cannot sit completely straight. Unfortunately, the stand will not allow it to do that. Well, more or less the clip, but this, yeah, it just doesn't sit all the way straight. Running at 1 amp on low, 118 watts. Okay. Pick it up to medium speed. Now we're up to about 1.1 amp, 133 watts. Now high. We're at 1.3 amps, I'd say. 152 watts. Oh, this thing's loud. This is a very loud fan. It's primarily, I guess, going to be used as a secondary garage exhaust fan, I guess. Yeah, motor's freeing up a little bit now that I oiled it. It's happier now, let's say. Spin down time's getting a little longer. Overall, not a bad fan for a free find, and you know, cost me $5 in a can of paint. Got a nice garage fan. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one.